Welcome to Team M's group presentation. This is our first iteration of an online virtual stock market app. Our teammates include Jacob Hicks, Jake Hartman, Matthew Seller, and Alex Winchester. We're going to go right into our current prototype.
We created a function-oriented user interface prototype that allows us to see how users will be navigating through our site. They will begin on the login screen, which allows them to enter their information and access their account in the site. If they do not yet have an account, they can click Create an Account, which will bring them to the account creation screen. Here they will enter a bit more information, and once complete, can click Get Trading to enter our home page. Here they will be able to view stock market indexes performances, tournament leaders for the current tournament, as well as their bank balance and total worth. If they click User Profile, they will be able to see their bank balance once again, as well as the stocks they currently own and their tournament history showing their past rankings for past tournaments. If they click Market Center, they will see once again the stock market indexes as well as some trade suggestions for hot stocks. They can also search companies' ticker symbols here. If they click on a company, they will be taken to the company profile, which shows the company's performance over the last year, as well as a graph showing their stock and allowing them to choose what type of graph they'll be looking at. They can also use this portion to buy shares from the company as well as sell shares that they own. At the tournament page, users will be able to see past results for the last 3 tournaments, the current tournament results and the rankings for that tournament, as well as the tournament registration, which allows them to register for the next tournament. At the user forum, users will be able to talk about stock market topics such as the stock market today, penny stocks, and personal finance. They will be able to create new threads as well as view threads that are already been posted by other users.
Using the user-centered design process, we have 5 steps to complete before we iterate. In our planning step, we determined 3 things: what activities we were going to perform for each area, what our time frame for these activities were, and who would be conducting them. In our understanding context step, we all got together through Google Hangouts and reviewed our project description. We then started a shared folder in Google Docs to document everything being worked on for the project. To define the requirements of our software, we used personas and scenarios to conceptualize our audience, as we used a public survey to help refine our goals from their responses. We gave prototyping the most amount of time, so we could include use case diagrams and a decomposition map for added structure. These, along with our initial prototype design, give us a strong view of how our site will look and function. Our last step involves receiving feedback and evaluating our current project status. We determine what our main focus will be in our next iteration and change our plan in order to meet those goals. The survey conducted was created with Google Forms and contained 7 questions. It was administered on the web, through email DLs, and to friends and families. We then reviewed the data and changed our design strategy. Most people who took the survey were young adults, which creates a slight bias in our responses, and we don't want to cater to one specific age. There's also a slight bias in gender. More males than females took the survey. Over 50% of people have less than an average knowledge of the stock market. This gives us a focus point for providing enough information on our website. Almost 75% of people are not actively trading stocks, which is a lot of potential users our web application could try to appeal to. Most reasons why people are not actively trading stocks are because they don't have enough knowledge or they don't have enough money. This gives us 2 main focus areas with our design and marketing strategy. 20% of people said they would not invest in the stock market, which leaves 80% of people who would or might invest, which is a lot of potential users. 65% of people like no-risk competition, which helps in deciding whether or not our tournaments should be played for virtual money or real money.
One of the first things our team did while discussing the project was create personas. Creating personas helped our team brainstorm possible users of our app, which helped us understand requirements of several different types of users, and also features we might want to include in our app. Thinking about personas also helped us come up with a basic design idea that would be appealing to our potential users. For the first iteration, we created 4 different personas, which outline the majority of our users. The 4 personas we created were player for money, player for fun, a player training to be a broker, and a site moderator. For each type of persona, we created scenarios, which helped us think more about the specific requirements of different types of users and features the site may include. The player for money would be participating in our monthly real money tournaments, and therefore would need a way to deposit and withdraw funds, as well as register for tournaments and view his standings in the tournaments he is currently in. He also might want to look at informational material about the stock market, so our site might want to provide articles discussing current trends in the stock market, as well as provide a forum for users to discuss and learn about investing. The player for fun we created may be more interested in basic stock investing educational material, such as articles and videos. Since they are learning, they might want the ability to create several different practice portfolios and compare the performance of each. The player for fun may also be interested in seeing stock suggestions provided by the site. The player training to be a broker may want access to the same things as the player for money and player for fun, but might also want access to more advanced features that will help analyze stocks, as well as educational material geared towards someone interested in being a broker. A site moderator would need to perform actions such as creating and monitoring tournaments and forums, as well as receiving feedback from users. Aside from a simple contact email address, we may also decide to include buttons for users to give feedback to our moderators and other staff. A site moderator should be able to update different content in the site, such as articles and past tournament results. The moderator may also need a way to monitor traffic and the status of the site in terms of its uptime.
Use cases. The first user we'll look at is a non-tournament user. Should a user choose to sign up to play for free, they'll have access to all of the trading features that the tournament players do. Trading on margin, short selling, stocks, bonds, and options. The only exception to this being that they will not have access to after-hours trading. Upon logging in, the user's account will be validated. After the user account is validated, they'll have access to the rest of the site. Next user is the tournament user. A user that opts to pay into the buy-in pool will have the ability to enter his or herself into a tournament. Now again, these users have the same features as mentioned previously, with the only exception being that they do have the ability to commit after-hours trading. So again, after logging in, their account will be validated. When it's validated, they'll then have the ability to join a tournament. The last user is the broker user. The broker user, as in real life, will act as the mediator between buyer and seller. As such, they will have access to real-time quotes on stocks, whereas the other two users will have a 15-minute delay on those quotes. These users will be able to provide other traders with up-to-date stock information, as well as pitch them suggestions, earning a commission doing so. As with the two users before, upon logging in, a broker user's account will be validated. Once it's validated and found that the user is a broker, they'll have access to the real-time listings. Now, a broker will also have access to the rest of the site, being a forum, as well as the ability to make trades on their own. The only difference there is that a broker user cannot participate in the tournament.
To divide our platform into smaller, more manageable pieces, we created a decomposition. This included three main subsystems: network communications, data processing, and user interface. Within network communications, there are two modules: internet communications, which would pull data from outside stock sources, and intranet communications, which would be within our own network showing user exchange data as well as the user forum. Within data processing, there are also two modules: tournament processing, which would allow our tournaments to run, and currency processing, which would include the real currency transactions in the tournament, as well as virtual currency transactions for everyday trading on the site. Within user interface, we would have our user registration, which includes the account creation, allowing users to create their own account, the user profile, which shows their virtual currency account, as well as the user account settings, the user forum, which would allow users to view other postings and post their own postings, and the trading hub, which would show companies' profiles, allowing users to see their stock information and purchase and sell shares, as well as the market information, which shows the market as a whole, including trade suggestions for hot stocks and stock index performances. for indexes such as the Dow and the NASDAQ.
For this iteration of the project, our group was able to stay on schedule with all of the planned timelines. The wide potential user group surveyed by Jake during this iteration has provided us with ample feedback that we can use to improve the design in further iterations. With Alex finishing the prototype ahead of schedule, this will make the next iteration more productive, as we will be able to spend more time refining the design. A few risks for the next iteration have been identified. The first being the holiday. With the upcoming holiday, the group member schedules may not coincide with each other's, causing us to meet less often. To mitigate that, we may have to provide very clear communication via email. Another risk is the risk of making too many changes to the current design. While some changes will need to be made, those changes should be small in nature and not so large that they cause us to redesign the basic functionality of the project. Lastly, some tasks being contingent on others, we should ensure that we maintain the flow of our assigned tasks. This will mean that no group member is forced to miss a deadline due to the fact that another group member has not completed a task on time. The next iteration, we plan to have the database design, the cognitive walkthrough, click tracing, and follow-up surveys done, as well as any design refinements that needed to be made based on feedback.